Hello again, back with another interesting backstory to an interesting game. It's playoffs round one versus Matt, number one seed in the division versus number four seed now, technically number five. Anyway, yeah, this is definitely another underdog moment where I have all the resources in order to contend. However, last time I played Matt was week two, and again I got absolutely dumpstered because that's just how it was back then when I was very bad and was very rusty. And Matt still being at the top of this game, as always. So, just taking a look at this team real quick to give a quick team preview of what they've got. You've got Metagross, Clefable, Tornadus as the T1s, Entei, Barraskewda, and Hydreigon as the T2s. Marowak, Jolteon, and Gourgeist as T3s, and T4s of Purloin and I don't remember what it's called. Beheum, that's it. Yeah. So, looking at this team, it's very clear that I want Incineroar, but I can't run Intimidate. It's a very difficult situation looking at this, because Incineroar is a very good counter to Metagross. However, they've got Defiant and Tornadus. So I am in a very rough spot there. You'll see how I address that in a bit. Plus, we've got Clefable here, which I do have two very solid counters for. Maybe up even three if you count Klefki. However, it's very easy to prep around the things I'm going to bring for it. And Tornadus, I have really one super solid counter for it in Aerodactyl, but they just picked up Jolteon this week. So I'm going to be in a rough spot in order to balance Aerodactyl versus Jolteon. I don't think there's anything else I want to say here other than they've got a lot of special grass type coverage. But also, this Entei here is a very weird situation that I'm going to try to address the best I can, but it kind of wrecked me in week two, so I'm trying my best in my team build in order to address that. Starting off here, we've got Swampert, Incineroar, Kartana, our Firewater Grass core. Let's start with Swampert here. This is a very interesting set for me. So I'm running Assault Vest, max special defense, with a very good amount of HP and investment. And the reason I'm going for this here is because of that Entei. Because I know it's very easy for them to set up Sun and fire off a lot of solar beams with that Entei. Especially with their Prankster Purloin. So being able to defend against that with a lot of bulk is really going to be how I address that. So I just want to be able to at least live long enough. So I've got High Horsepower, Liquidation, Ice Punch, Darkest Lariat. Darkest Lariat mainly in case of defense boost due to max steel, especially against that Metagross. High Horsepower just really hits anything hard, and Liquidation and Ice Punch for the coverage. Next we have Incineroar, and as you can see, it's Blaze Weakness Policy in a very offensive set with one support move that I'll get into later. But first off, Weakness Policy Blaze. Now Blaze, of course, is going to be how I avoid proccing a Defiant boost. Also, it gives me a small boost whenever I get a very low HP. However, I'm not going to see that as relevant, especially the same thing as with Swampert. It's there to exist and it'll work if it works. I'm not going to bank anything on it. Weakness Policy, there's a lot of different forms of coverage that they have to hit this Incineroar, so I kind of want to take advantage of that. I built my set in a way where I can max my Incineroar, take advantage of that massive defense investment that I have in it. Maybe take a hit or two from a max Metagross, for example, and hit back with maybe a Flare Blitz, sorry, a max Flare, a max Dark, or even a max Fighting and start buffing my own teammates, you know? Because I've also got Drain Punch here. And Drain Punch is going to be really good for restoring my HP and keeping my Incineroar around for the long term. Like, I mean, it works counterintuitively with Blaze, however, I think it's going to be better for the survivability of Incineroar. Plus, it's very good coverage against this team. It's very nice to have, especially against things like Hydreigon. Finally, we have Will-O-Wisp, which is kind of like my last legs to get something done. I have it there so that I can get a Wisp onto the Marowak or onto the Metagross. Or maybe if I find it's a physical, physical Tornadus, I can get a Will-O-Wisp onto that as well. And of course, being a bulky set, I should be able to live long enough to get that Will-O-Wisp off, as long as it doesn't miss, of course. But I find a lot of the counters for my team are going to be, they are going to be physical attackers, especially for this Incineroar. So I am at least bulking this shit out. Also, I have a tiny bit of speed investment. I believe that it's to outspeed anything that I wanted to, I think I do speed tie. If I have no speed investment, I should speed tie with Metagross, I believe. So I have 12 there, just in case I try to put, like, just 4 in there to outspeed. I can use the 12 in order just to, you know, outspeed the speed creep. Anyway, finally, Kartana with Scarf. The Scarftana. Classic. I really like Scarftana. I don't get to use it much, but it's very nice because it means I get to put a lot of attack investment and spread around my investment into other areas. So Scarftana is speed creeping, I believe, Jolteon. It's Jolteon and maybe something else. But I just want to make sure that it's able to hit first no matter what. So, Leaf Blade, Night Slash, Sacred Sword, Smart Strike, very good amount of coverage there, nothing much to say. So as long as I'm able to balance my move choices, I should be alright. To get into my non-core members of my team, the things that are going to be getting off the damage, really taking advantage of other things that are going to be going on in this team and playing against it. First off, Nidoking. Life Orb, Sheer Force, Classic. I haven't brought Nidoking in a while, however, I think this is the right week to do it, especially with Metagross and Clefable on their team. There's no reason I shouldn't bring Nidoking here. Now I have Sludge Bomb, Earth Power, Thunderbolt, Protect. Thunderbolt mainly because I want to get off some good damage onto that Tornadus, and as long as that Marowak isn't on the field with its Lightning Rod, I should be okay. Also, it's very good against the Barraskewda, I have to remember that. Now, Sludge Bomb, Earth Power, very good coverage, of course, sad. The coverage is great against this team in particular, which is why I'm bringing it. And of course, Protect, because of course you want to protect your mons. Why not bring Protect? I have a lot of speed investment. I do not remember what I'm speed creeping here, however, I believe it's max speed Metagross is what I'm trying to speed creep. I don't exactly... Oh yeah, I was very confused about how I was able to speed creep it without making it timid. However, I was able to do that, so that was very nice. Next is Klefki, Eject Button, Prankster, Dazzling Gleam, Foul Play, Thunder Wave, Switcheroo. Speed creeping the Purloin, I believe, so he gets the Prankster off first. Now, Dazzling Gleam, Foul Play, of course, very good coverage, especially against maybe a boosted Tornadus, or even that Metagross. Lots of HP investment just for the bulk. And really just, I have nothing really else to say other than Eject Button is gonna go burr. I'm gonna try my best to really use that to shut things down. And finally, we've got Aerodactyl here. And Aerodactyl is not going to play the same exact role as it did in the previous matches that we've had the past couple weeks. Of course, it used to be Max and Nuke. That's how I dealt with it. However, this time I'm going to use Focus Sash in order to keep it up long enough to clean up some kills. I want to keep it there as my all-arounder. It can get a lot of damage off from anything with its very good coverage that I have with Rock Slide, Earthquake, Dragon Claw, and Iron Head. Now, Iron Head is great for that Clefable. I really want to be able to hit that Clefable hard, so having that coverage is very good against that. Dragon Claw is very interesting, which I have for the High Dragon, but only for the High Dragon. And I am max speed, of course, to make sure that I deal with that. Now, mind you, I am absolute max speed because I want to, at worst, speed tie with that Jolteon. I do not want to let that thing outspeed me. So as long, I hope and pray that they don't bring Jolteon, and that they picked it up just as a way to scare me out of Aerodactyl at all. But yeah, I'm not gonna be scared out of bringing my Aerodactyl here, just because they have that Jolteon that can slightly outspeed. Now, I do have to be worried about Quick Feet and Flame Orb, which is going to be really difficult to play against if it does come, because Quick Feet Flame Orb is kind of like the bane of this Aerodactyl. So, I guess I'm going to have to play around that very well. I just hope that, yeah, that Jolteon is brought as a just in case, you know? I really don't have much to say other than I gotta bring Aerodactyl for the coverage. It's a really good piece to fit around, however, I do really have to play around their options for it. Anyway, yeah, let's get into the actual battle now, since you watched it this far. I hope it's insightful for you. And I'm gonna hope and pray that my preview for this doesn't corrupt like it did last time. Alright, so this is the match. The first playoffs match. And I'm seeing this team of Hydreigon, Clefable, Metagross, Tornadus, Gourgeist, and Entei. And honestly, I have no clue what to think of this, other than Tornadus is going to be an issue with Heat Wave. Sacred Fire on the Entei is going to be pretty decent. That Gourgeist is scary against the Swampert, but I should be alright. Also, Hydreigon means I'm forced to bring Aerodactyl here. So, considering my options, of course want to bring Klefki because that's a really good counter against this Metagross. And then choosing to bring Incin here just off the bat. So, I'm also wondering, how am I going to kill this Clefable? What am I going to do against it? So, of course, there's Kartana I can use. Or I can use Nidoking. Or I can just brute force it. No clue which. But I believe I'm choosing Cart at the moment. But I decide against it eventually. And then, of course I have to bring Aerodactyl. So I'm deciding against Kartana. I'm bringing Nidoking because I want a little bit more against that Metagross here. And that is my start. So of course we start the battle. And of course Metagross and Clefable are the lead. So I'm seeing this and I'm thinking, okay, I need to get rid of this Metagross as soon as possible. So of course, I need to make sure it doesn't Max Awaken to me, kill me. So I decide I wanted to Max Incin, and I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with this Klefki here. Because I'm thinking, the Clefable is probably, I think the best move that Clefable could go for is a Follow Me, and then a Max Awaken to the Incin. I kind of want Incin to live with a lot of HP. So of course, I'm maxing, and max flaring into the Metagross slot. Now, I don't see this as necessarily a misplay, but rather an opportunity for me to do better, because I had a really good plan going into this, but they adjusted to that really well. What probably would have been a better play for me is keeping it unmaxed, because I knew my calcs meant that I could live in the first place. I probably should have gone for the Darkest Lariat in case of a defense boost as well. Or rather not, because of the Follow Me, just in case. But generally I should have done a bit more other than max Incin, because this is not a situation where I want Incin to be maxed in. Now I do a lot of damage against this Entei, which is good. And I see Clefable comes out with the Sing, which is very odd to me, but it tells me that I need to get rid of this Clefable as soon as humanly possible. So I'm going to switch over the Lagentail onto the Entei. Also, by the way, I replaced Klefki's eject button with Lagentail because I wanted to deal with Jolteon. Of course, Jolteon isn't there, so I'm kind of regretting it at this point. Yeah, I'm going to try nuking the Clefable with the Max Flare, switching onto the Entei. The Entei will still have the first move. I see it has a Choice Band, but Sacred Fire does come out, take the kill into the Klefki. Now, I'm not so sure, but I think that's a misplay there. I should have switched out Klefki because I needed it later for that Metagross. I should have realized that since my Incin was my main counter against this Metagross, they're going to keep it until the last Mon, max it, and try to max weight kill my Incin before anything else bad happens. So I should have kept the Klefki alive by switching out into Aero, probably, would be my best bet. But now the Klefki's dead, I switch into Aero anyway. And I'm thinking, how's the best way to set up my Incin, at least for the future? So I'm thinking, the sooner I get rid of this Entei, the better. So I'm thinking, if I can Earthquake, I can proc my weakness policy, and then if I attack into the Tornadus, all be well. Well, I did not realize that Tornadus could probably be Scarfed. And Entei could probably, what's it called? Live the Earthquake, because it's not Sab. So I should have gone for the Rock Slide, and of course we see the Tailwind come out. And the Tailwind's going to be a huge issue for me, especially with that Metagross. And also, Entei does not die, which is a huge boon for me. Really disappointed in that. Because Entei did not die, that means I don't get a Metagross third turn against this Max Incin. So overall misplay with that Earthquake there. And the Iron Hand does come out and knock Aero very low, but not down low enough because it's not banded. Now of course Incin is now low. Or not low, but I'm able to get the Rock Slide and the Drain Punch off. I get the Rock Slide and I go for the Drain Punch onto the Entei. But I should have probably focused down that Tornadus. Because Entei can't really do much against my team, and Tornadus can with its Air Slash. So I probably should have hit the Tornadus there with maybe my Flare Blitz, because they know I have Flare Blitz. It's also... But actually, no, I shouldn't. In case of a, say, Stopping Tantrum from this Entei. So this was the right play here, however, a reluctant correct play. So I'm left with Incin and I'm left with Nidoking and a maxable, Metagross on the other side. Now, I should be scared shitless. I'm somehow not. So what I should be doing here is Earth Powering into the Metagross and Flare Blitzing into the Metagross. But no, instead, I Will-O-Wisp into the Metagross and I Thunderbolt into the Tornadus, leaving... Oh, you're about to see what happens here. Of course, it's going to kill the Tornadus because Tornadus doesn't have redirection, I don't think. But Metagross is still going to be an issue, especially because of how much damage it can do. And I'm kind of underestimating the fact that it can do a lot of damage to me still. So of course it maxes. And here I'm very scared. And Air Slash does come out. Nidoking avoids it, which is nice at least, because it gives me a little bit more of an endgame. Max Quake comes out, kills Incin, which is... okay, I see that. Tailwind is not good for me, and of course that's what results from it. And now, instead of focusing down the huge threat, the Metagross, I Thunderbolt. Yeah, just the wrong play there, because differential does not matter here. So if I can play for an endgame where it's my Tornadus versus Nidoking, I feel a lot better. So what I could have done is at least I can Max Quake, or sorry, I can Earth Power into the Metagross, Protect, Earth Power into the Metagross, Protect, and each time I Earth Power into this Metagross is going to be doing far more damage. And of course, Tailwind's about to end soon and would have left me into the good enough endgame to play against that Tornadus. So generally it would have been more risky, sure, the game would have ended sooner if it didn't work out, and a lot quicker if it did. Sorry, a lot longer if it did work out. But I generally played incorrectly there with that Thunderbolt. Not the right move. And as we're going to see here, my Protect stall is only going to work so much. Because of course, Quakes into Protect is going to do its thing. And of course I hit the double Protect, which is what I needed to do in order to live. But I'm now left with an unmaxed Metagross here. And I am banking on a crit. And of course, I'm probably not going to get a crit here. Earth Power comes out. Does a lot of damage, but just not enough because it's +3. Sonic Tissue doesn't miss, hits, and there's my round 1 done. So I had a few places that I could have played better, but overall not the best. So now, I'm trying to address this. How am I going to take down... How am I going to take down this Clefable with its Sing? How am I going to take down its Metagross before it does a shit ton of damage? How am I going to take care of this Entei if I'm not going to be disabling it? And I think what I'm deciding to do is leave out Incin here. I want to leave out Incin because, honestly, looking at this roster, it only does good against this Metagross. That's at least what I'm thinking here. Of course, we saw last round, and I'm really having a dilemma here. Do I leave Incin or not? I think in the end I decided I wanted to stick with this. But yeah, just I'm going to talk through my decision. leaving Nidoking is it's a bit too frail. And a frail Nidoking against this team isn't really what I want. I'm bringing Swampert here because it's a bit more bulky, in my opinion. However, I am forgetting that it's got no physical investment at all, which is going to be pretty interesting as I go forward. And they begin with the same lead of Metagross Clefable. I don't know why, but I didn't expect it to be the same lead twice. But it is what it is. And my Aerodactyl isn't looking too great now. However, yeah, it is what it is. I'm thinking I want to Thunder Wave into this Metagross. And then Iron Head into the Clefable. But really, I want to be able to keep this Lacking Tail for the Metagross at the end of the day. So a Follow Me comes out, which is kind of expected, which is why I made a play where I wasn't going to be too damaged if that did come out. Of course, the Iron Head does hit in just over half, and the Iron Head hits into the Aerodactyl, takes it down to 1, which I'm fine with. It is how it is. Can't do much. So I switch in the Swampert here, and I decide the best thing for me is to, again, Iron Head into the Clef, expecting another Follow Me, and honestly, at the end of the day, I need to get this Clef piece safe. So whatever happens, happens. I'm going to deal with whatever damage comes from the Metagross. If it hits into the Aerodactyl, cool, but it probably want to kill that Clefty first. So Swampert comes in, and mind you, just a reminder, if this Metagross does hit into me, I can't take much from it. I only have so much HP investment. I don't have any defense investment. I'm feeling kind of screwed here. So, Follow Me comes out as I expect. Yeah, Iron Head comes out, kills the Clef. Cool. I'm fine with that. That's exactly what I wanted. And now Quake comes out into the Swampert. I'm saying it does 120 damage here. And I don't know why, but at this point I'm thinking, well, 120 damage is enough to where I can max if I take another one of those, and it won't be an issue. But what I'm not realizing is that if it has max Psychic, it'll be Stab, and therefore do more than that. So I'm maxing just for this cause of surviving another hit for whatever Metagross brings out. But again, whatever happens, happens. And I'm going for the max Hail, so it takes out the Tornadus. Okay, no. I decided not to max Hail. I Rock Slide the max Quake because I need to take out Metagross. I wanted to go for the max Hail in order to take out the Tornadus in one turn, but I decided that Metagross is too much of a threat, which is a good call. However, a little bit too late of a call, because now we're basically down to a Klefki in the back. So, yeah, Air Slash comes out, kills the arrow. Mindstorm comes out, kills the Swampert, and now I'm screwed with the Klefki in the back, right? Very quick game for me, mind you. Oh shoot, I just realized I lost -3 this round. Not -2, which I had written down. So yeah, a Klefki against a fucking... Okay, a Klefki on a cart, sorry. No, it is -2. So Klefki is here versus Metagross. Tornadus is here. Now I'm deciding, well, do I attack into Metagross or do I attack into Tornadus? Tornadus is going to kill my Kartana either way. And it's a matter of how do I deal with this Metagross? Now, I think what I decide to do is, because I'm Scarf, I need to lock into Night Slash. I need to attack this Tornadus. And I can do whatever I please into this Metagross. So, I'm a dumbass. And I go for the Thunder Wave into the Metagross without realizing Psychic trading is off. So I should have gone for the Lagging Tail. Really should have. It kind of ruins my shit. And also, what I do find out later, actually, is that Quake should have gone into the Klefki, which is, first of all, nice for me, because that's what I was expecting, but also, still leaving a Klefki 1v2. Obviously, it's not gonna win. I'm gonna lose this surely. Because even if it was a 1v2 with Kartana, it couldn't do shit. Let's be real. Let's be completely honest. It would not have worked. I would have had a miracle. So overall, obviously a losing situation. I'm doing my best. Sacred Fire does come out and take the kill onto Klefki. So, that is the game. And along with that game is my career on this season. Now, I have a lot looking back onto this season. I can go into a retrospective. But I'm very proud of the way I played in this game. Even if I had some mistakes, there were a lot more minute mistakes than I was making at the very beginning at the very beginning of the season against Matt, round 1 and week 2. There are a lot more minute mistakes. But also, they wouldn't really even be mistakes if I was against a different opponent. Because I'm playing against Matt, who's on another level. And he's making his decisions very, very well. Now, I was obviously not. I was not making my decisions keeping in mind what he's going to do, which is my issue with this game and how I lost. So, that mentality and him being on another level of that mentality is really how he won the game. Massive props to him. He deserved it, especially with how I played compared to him. Pretty much he is. Yeah. If I take a retrospective here again for longer this time, I'm very proud of the improvements that I've made this whole season. I'm very proud of the way I've begun to adapt my playstyle up until this game. Now, of course, I wasn't able to show it off here. That's my bad. And really disappointed I can't show it off in future matches. But I'm very glad I was able to play this league. Very glad I had supportive people in this league who really backed me up going into these really difficult games, hyped me up as I start making my playoff run. Can't be more thankful for that moral support. And yeah, that's it for me. That's it for this league. On to season 3, and Aerodactyl is OP.